He was a healthy, young tourist, laughing with friends on vacation, posting selfies by the beach. But within days, something changed. He became paranoid. He said people were trying to kill him. He called his mother in the middle of the night, whispering that strangers were following him. And then, in one of the most haunting airport surveillance videos ever recorded, Lars Mittank sprinted out of Varna Airport and was never seen again. Was it paranoia, a brain injury, or something far darker? This is the story of Europe's creepiest airport disappearance. Lars Mittank was not the kind of man anyone expected to vanish. At 28 years old, he was bright, athletic, and full of life. Friends described him as funny, dependable, and easygoing. He had a steady job, a girlfriend, and loving parents back home in Germany. In the summer of 2014, he decided to take a break from work and head to Bulgaria's popular Golden Sands resort with a group of friends. A trip that should have been filled with sun, cheap drinks, and carefree memories. For the first few days, everything went exactly as planned. Photos show Lars smiling, swimming, and enjoying the seaside clubs with his friends. But on the night of July 6th, a fight changed everything. Reports differ on the details. Some say it was over football. Others suggest it was a drunken misunderstanding. But Lars was attacked. The brawl left him shaken, and most importantly, with an injured ear. He visited a local doctor who diagnosed a ruptured eardrum. It wasn't life-threatening, but it was serious enough that the doctor advised him not to fly. His friends, ready to return home, urged him to come anyway, but Lars hesitated. He decided to stay behind in Bulgaria for a few more days until he could travel safely. At first, it seemed like a reasonable choice. But as the days wore on, Lars began acting strangely. He checked into a budget hotel near Varna Airport. He called his mother in Germany, saying he didn't feel safe. He whispered that people wanted to kill him. "What if they drug me?" he asked. His mother, worried but unsure what to do, told him to find another doctor and come home as soon as possible. That was the last time she heard his voice in a calm tone. Within 72 hours, the story of Lars Mittank would become one of Europe's strangest modern mysteries. One that still puzzles investigators, internet sleuths, and millions of viewers who have watched his final moments on YouTube. When Lars' friends flew home, they left him behind with reassurances that he'd be fine for a few days. But what happened next sent his story spiraling into darkness. He checked into a small, inexpensive hotel near Varna Airport called the Hotel Color. On the surface, it was ordinary. Plain rooms, thin walls, the kind of place backpackers use for a single night before catching an early flight. But for Lars, it became a prison of fear. He began calling his mother, Sandra, at strange hours. Sometimes his voice was calm. Other times, he whispered frantically, saying he was being followed. He mentioned strange men outside his room. Once, he told her he had hidden because he thought someone was coming to kill him. The most chilling moment came when he asked her to cancel his credit cards, terrified someone would use them to track him. The hotel staff later reported bizarre behavior. Lars was seen pacing the halls, muttering to himself, sometimes darting out of his room in a panic. On one occasion, he reportedly ran out of the building entirely before returning hours later. Whether this paranoia was real or imagined remains the central question. Some suggest Lars may have been suffering from a concussion or post-traumatic brain injury from the fight days earlier, causing hallucinations and paranoia. Others believe he was caught up in something darker, that he had been threatened, that criminal elements were truly watching him, and that his fear was justified. The night before his flight home, his mother said Lars called her again. His voice shook with urgency. "Come get me," he begged. But she was over 1,000 kilometers away in Germany. All she could do was plead with him to stay calm and promise she'd be waiting when he landed the next day. By morning, Lars made his way to Varna Airport. It should have been the end of a stressful trip. Instead, it became the beginning of one of the strangest disappearances Europe has ever seen. July 8, 2014, the day Lars was supposed to return home. He arrived at Varna Airport carrying only his backpack. Surveillance cameras captured him walking calmly at first. He checked in, then went to see the airport doctor. hoping for final clearance to fly despite his ear injury. The doctor, however, recommended he delay again. He even offered antibiotics to treat an infection. Witnesses later reported that, during the exam, a construction worker entered the office. At that moment, Lars' demeanor changed instantly. His face paled. His breathing quickened. "I don't want to die here," he muttered. Then, without warning, Lars leapt from his chair, abandoned his luggage, and bolted out of the airport terminal. Security cameras caught the moment. A young man in casual clothes, sprinting past travelers, bursting through the exit doors into the summer daylight. Outside, he didn't stop. He ran across the parking lot, past security barriers, and disappeared into a field of tall grass and trees beyond the airport. That was the last verified sighting of Lars Mittank. His backpack, containing his wallet, phone, and passport, remained behind. The airport staff called authorities. Search parties scoured the fields and surrounding villages, but no trace of him was ever found. No body, no belongings, nothing. A healthy, intelligent young man had vanished in broad daylight, with dozens of witnesses, in one of the most bizarre disappearances ever recorded on video. The Bulgarian police launched an investigation, but it quickly went cold. Farmers in the surrounding area were interviewed. Fields and abandoned structures were searched. Helicopters swept the region, but no remains were discovered. In the days after his disappearance, Lars' mother begged authorities to keep looking. She traveled to Bulgaria herself, handing out flyers, speaking to anyone who might have seen her son. But weeks passed without progress. Speculation spread quickly online. The CCTV footage of Lars sprinting out of the airport was uploaded to YouTube, and within days it went viral. Comment sections exploded with theories. Was he being chased? Did he have a psychotic break? Was he abducted after leaving the airport grounds? Adding to the mystery, there were alleged unconfirmed sightings of Lars in different parts of Eastern Europe over the years. Some claimed he was living homeless. Others swore they saw him wandering in forests or hitchhiking. None were ever verified. The truth was as simple as it was terrifying. A man had vanished in the modern world, leaving behind no digital footprint, no financial activity, and no trace of life. Why did Lars run? Theories divide into two main camps, medical and sinister. Medical theory. Doctors believe his ruptured eardrum and head injury could have caused a rare condition known as post-concussion syndrome, or even a brain injury leading to sudden paranoia and hallucinations. Antibiotics may have worsened this state. His terror in this theory was real, but rooted in his own mind. Sinister theory. Others believe Lars stumbled into something criminal while in Bulgaria. Golden Sands was notorious for drugs and organized crime at the time. Did he anger the wrong people during his bar fight? Was he threatened? Was someone really following him? His calls to his mother certainly suggested he believed danger was real. Alternative theories. Organ trafficking rings. Witness protection gone wrong. Suicide, though no body was ever found. Voluntary disappearance to start a new life. Every theory has flaws. No evidence of foul play has surfaced. No medical diagnosis was ever confirmed. And yet, millions still debate the case, replaying that same 20-second airport clip as if it might one day reveal a hidden clue. Nearly a decade later, the disappearance of Lars Mittank is still unsolved. His mother continues to search, holding out hope that her son may still be alive. Each year, new amateur sleuths discover his story, posting theories on Reddit, TikTok, and YouTube, keeping the mystery alive. The haunting final video of him sprinting out of Varna Airport remains one of the most chilling pieces of true crime footage on the internet. It has been called Europe's creepiest unsolved disappearance. For many, the case embodies a uniquely modern horror, that in a world of smartphones, cameras, and constant surveillance, a young man can simply run out of an airport and vanish forever. Was Lars Mittank the victim of a medical tragedy? Or did he truly stumble into something too dangerous to escape? Until evidence surfaces, the mystery endures, haunting both investigators and millions of strangers who can't forget the terrified look on his face in that final recording. If you enjoyed this story, like and subscribe for more compelling mysteries like this.